My book is sold in Ghana. They don't have a book on construction law in Ghana yet. They keep planning to write one, but they use my book in Ghana, and someone told me it's written in such simple language so that everybody can read. It's meant for both lawyers and professionals, engineers, architects, quantity surveyors. It's not, you won't find so many big law words in it, legal words in it. So it's for everybody. It was written so that everybody can use it and understand it. So that made me happy. The highlight of my career as an author, this is my first book, is that it's useful. People are making use of it. So yes, I'm glad I wrote the book. I'm glad my dad encouraged me to write the book because it's needed. It's needed. People should know this thing, and we should be able, Nigeria should be able to compare favorably with its counterparts in the world. We have a construction sector and it's working. Construction projects are carried out everywhere. The infrastructure, we need buildings, we need roads, we need bridges. So we should have, people should know the laws, that there are laws in Nigeria and they are working.
Your dad encouraged you to write this? Yes,
he did. He one day I went to see him, and I was just talking about the construction sector and getting animated, and he said, "You should write a book. You should write a book." At first, my husband said, "You can do it," and he encouraged me to. So I started. How did I start? I started with the table of contents. What should be in a construction law book? I started with the table of contents. I drew it up, and then I worked at night because I work from 8 to 4. I have a young son. It was quite tasking, so I wake up 12. When everybody's sleeping, my son will not come and say, carry me, carry me. I would now walk till 2, 3, and then go to bed, wake up, and prepare his diaper bag to take him to daycare. So it was quite tasking, but it's been a rewarding experience because it also helped me to know more about this area that I love and I'm passionate about, and it's really paid off by both. It's been paid off when you see that people are actually interested in the book and find it useful.
So if somebody comes to you and says he or she wants to write a book, I'm sure you're going to encourage him or her to do that.
Go ahead, go for it. Go for it. You just have to do it. Put it in a book and sell it. Yes, it's very, I encourage people to be authors. Because there's so many people come to me. My friend told me, "Oh, I have this idea about." My friend is in the UK. She told me she sees that people find it difficult to settle in when they come to UK. They have to do this, do that. I said, "Why don't you put it in a book? Why don't you write a book? Starting business in the UK, something simple that people." She's a lawyer, but she married and moved to the UK. You can do that. You can just. I encourage people to write books. Somebody out there needs to read this, needs to know it. And if it's an idea in your mind, why don't you put it into a book? Just write it. I met a girl in Ghana. She was telling me she met an old professor who advised her to write a book. She was on artworks in Ghana, and she didn't. She kept postponing. It, and she's feeling, the man later died, she's feeling she should have written the book that he told her, and I told her you could still do it. It's not too late. You can still do it. So I advise people to write books. Any idea that you have, just jot it down and keep working on it, page by page, chapter by chapter. And it took me 2 years to write this book. I started writing in 2014 and I finished it in 2016.
Like you mentioned earlier, there are lots of things we should know that we don't know about when it comes to construction law. Can you share 5 with us, particularly those you've outlined in this book, 5 things that a lot of people don't know, but they should know about construction laws and issues of construction in Nigeria?
Yes, 1, people don't know that they should sign an agreement, a construction contract, when they are when they're about to carry out any construction project. My book has highlighted and discussed, analyzed 4 standard forms of contracting used in Nigeria. These standard forms of contract are drawn up by bodies of professional bodies that have carried out professional bodies in the construction sector. So you can find the details of those provisions of those standard forms of contract in my book and be better educated as to your rights and obligations in the construction project. 2, people don't know that they should hire registered builders, registered architects, registered engineers to carry out their construction project. There are laws in Nigeria that require anybody that puts himself out there as an engineer, as an architect, or as a builder to be registered with Carbon. If you're a builder, you register with Coren. If you're an engineer, registered with the Acon. If you're an architect. So before you carry out the book, you carry out any project, you should go to Carbon and go through their register of skilled builders, and then get that person to carry out your project. That would, when people get to know this, it will reduce the amount of collapsed buildings, because the buildings will be constructed by skilled contractors. 3, people may not be familiar with the risk involved in a construction project. There are a lot of risks involved, and how you can protect yourself against this risk. That is very discussed in a chapter in my book on risk allocation. You can find that out in my book. And 4, my book also discusses the different procurement strategies involved in a construction project. How can you get your construction project built? For instance, there is a traditional procurement method where the employer, the person that wants to build, gets an architect to draw, and then he now gets a contractor to carry out the construction. Or there's also the design and build, where the employer just tells the contractor, you design the building and you put it up and you construct it, and then I just give me the key and I walk in. So all the different procurement strategies are also discussed in my book. And finally, people would get to know that their rights and obligations in a construction project. You have a right to sue if the person you hire to carry out your work did not do it well. You have a right to sue, and what is expected of you, your obligations under a construction contract and in respect of the project. And you get to know that if you don't carry out your obligations, you can be sued too. So it will really, really guide people in their relationships in respect to any construction projects they are undertaking.
Ewuwuni, thank you very much for joining us on Channels Book Club and for enlightening us on matters of construction.
Thank you. Thank you so much.